we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion.
Combustion. Coming to you from Denver, Colorado. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
We're feeling bullish here for episode 98. Coming back at you, DCPC conveniently located in DTC. We're excited to be back with you, man. Episode 98. You know, we had something lined up for you tonight with David Weiss, Flat Earth Dave, but unfortunately he doesn't know how to handle scheduling. So we had to call a little bit of an audible here. You know, we had to adjust a little bit, and that's okay, guys. You know, it's just important in life to know that when you jot down a date and you agree to something, that you follow through with it. Because I really honor commitments. You know, I make sure I'm early. I make sure I'm on time, sharp, present, ready to rip tater chip. But that's okay, guys. It wasn't meant to be. And we're going to have a solo tonight, man. This is going to be fun.
Man, solos are always fun. This is where it began, and this is where the episode begun. But back to what you're saying, okay? Like, we got to hold ourselves accountable. And if everybody in life, including yourself, just made excuses for everything, never took accountability or responsibility, just imagine living that way. You know, living in a way where you're never held accountable, nothing's ever truly your fault. You know, that's a facade. You know, that's unattainable. There's always mistakes. Everybody makes them. Let's hold ourselves accountable. So I would like, you know, to just start it off with that. Like, let's all be positive people, hold ourselves accountable. If we've done something negative, we need to account for that. And, you know, or we've missed something, you know, then that way we can learn, or else we're just going to stay in the same habitual patterns.
That's it, man. It's easy to spin your wheels, you know, stick in the mud, as they like to say, right? You know, and sometimes you just got to move on. You got to turn the page. You know, you got to keep cruising. Maybe take a different road. You know, try something different. You know, you hit a dead end. It's like, okay, where do we go now? We'll find another way, guys, because there's always another path to get to your destination. And I'm going to tell you this: a great way to get to your destination and doing a little bit of outdoor traveling, a little bit of outdoor exploring. That's Wild Outdoor Adventures. And what you're going to do is you're going to head over to WOAMEET.com. Sign up for free. Check out all the great programs.
Absolutely. This is a place where you can go to get an idea of what Colorado is about. If you're interested in, if you're a veteran and you're interested in meeting other vets, Hope for Teens, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, they have all these niche specific things on their website, which is free to sign up for. But not only that, if you're coming to Colorado, you can talk to people about the places that they've been. You know, and so that's one of the greatest benefits of this website is it's the platform to start bringing people together. And then when you actually go on these events, on these hikes that are organized by Wild Outdoor Adventures, that's when you're going to meet people with similar interests and potentially, you know, make some memories that last a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, people are there because they want to be there. They're not forced to be there. You know, you're like, man, I want to get outside. This is a great way to do it. You know, there's been people that have been on these hikes. You know, I'm going to be doing one of them coming up here in June, shortly after Kev recovers from his surgery over there at Wild Outdoor Adventures. It really is just a great way to connect, see the outdoors, you know, talk about what's going on, promote a little bit of your business here in Colorado. It is kind of, you know, based to the 303. But, hey, if you're passing through and you want to do a quick trip, you know, maybe you're like, man, I don't know much about these trails. Well, WOA will guide you.
Absolutely. And when you go to WOAMEET.com, that is less dreaming and more exploring. Discussion Combustion is also brought to you by Mountain Made CBD. And you guys already know Mountain Made has the crystal clear, active lifestyle CBD products. It's meant to get you through your morning, start you off right, get you through your afternoon, keep you moving, and then help you recover at night.
That's right, man. They keep their costs low so they can keep their product high. It is really the clearest, the purest, the most affordable CBD on the market. You know, a lot of people are used to the tinctures and a lot of these additives. Look, Mountain Made cuts all that crap out. It's clear. It's that crystal clear CBD, guys. It's been tested. It's been proved. It's been innovated. And they're constantly taking your advice, your criticism. You know, how can we make this product better for our consumers? And there's a lot of things you can do over there at mountainmade.life. You can do workout programs. You can bundle and save. You can auto pay, auto ship. You can hashtag go like hell merchandise. It's limitless.
It is. And with CBD, if you haven't experienced it before, it's really just meant to make you feel normal. There's been so many questions asked, like, you know, should I feel like, you know, an effect from this, or, you know, will I feel sleepy or groggy? And absolutely not. If replace your Tylenol with the Build in the morning. It's a 50 milligram CBD product that is a higher milligram dosage than what you're going to find in most dispensaries and stores, because this actually works. The need, if you guys go back to episode 18 and listen to that, not video, but you could listen to Mike Patchen talk about the need that his company dealt with when originally coming out, because it was for people that actually needed this product to function. And so it's there to help. They have CBD for dogs. They have CBD for any time of the day. Definitely go to mountainmade.life, check it out, and that's hashtag go like hell.
Go like hell, baby. Now let's jump into this thing, man. This is episode 98. We got a solo on deck.
Solos are so fun, though, man.
It takes it back to the roots,
and it's important. The solo is an important piece of the gig, because we are the vessels. We said this on John of All Trades. Big shout out to John.
He's going to be here for episode 100.
Episode 100 is going to be a banger.
It's coming quick, guys. What are we, 2 weeks away from 100? Yeah, we're at 98. So we got 99 next week with the Winter Hills Kitchen, and then 100.
Yep, it's going to be exciting. We're very excited. But John said it, man. He was saying how the podcasting realm is one that is a challenge, and it's like a monster that always is hungry, and you got to feed it. And so I don't know where I was going with that originally, but episode 100 is going to be an absolute fun time. We're going to have over 12 to 20 people present in the building. We're going to be recording on a Saturday. I think we're going to do 2 guests at a time, rotating. Mm-hmm. Kevin wants to do it live on YouTube. I'm questioning that.
We're still kind of working out the kinks on doing it live, because there's some issues with that, being that we still need that recording to release as a full episode. The live portion would be fun, and we probably still will try to do some sort of live portion of the show. Yeah. So we can get you guys involved a little bit. Live questions, live interactions, what have you. We don't really know yet, but it's less than 2 weeks away because of when we're going to record it. Mm-hmm. It's coming quick. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a celebration of all the people that have made this possible, including the listeners, all of you guys that tune in weekly. This is the reason we've made it to 100,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so humbled. We've had so many people, sit in a chair across from us and sit there and talk to us. I like the solos because it's a way for us to kind of just do a little reflection. And man, it's crazy that 2 friends sitting around chit-chatting, drinking some beers together, that people would be attracted to coming in and talking with us. But it's also because we came up with a mission statement. So I guess if anybody out there is challenging themselves with an extra project, you're trying to get your feet wet in a new realm, then go in with the mentality to make it different, make it bigger than yourself, because that's what we turned this into pretty early on. Is we felt that Discussion Combustion was much bigger than both Kevin and I were personally. And we were just, being the vessel to help it grow, because this is for the people. It's a platform to have voices heard, not necessarily a platform to push propaganda on.
Yeah, not necessarily, but the mission statement remains clear. It's about any and everybody. Always has been and always will be, and we just, it's been great to sit down with a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different professions. I've learned more sitting in this damn chair and the last chair I sat in than I have in other places in life. So it's been great. And that's the beauty of podcasting, is connecting, It's connecting, spreading information, giving people a chance to talk about what they're passionate about. It's just a cool industry, man. I'm excited to be a part of it.
I never knew how much I would like to be a podcaster, because it's simple, I mean, we've talked about this a bunch of times. We've both made music in the past, and there's so much criticism toward music. People are so opinionated, like that guitar riff sucks, or your voice isn't good, or I don't like your beats, or the shit ain't mixed well. And there's always some opinion with music, but with podcasting, it kind of cuts all that fat off, and it's just the meat.
Well, because it's a little bit more direct, concise, to the point kind of thing. That's what I like about casting. I mean, unless you're doing a niche specific, like Mash the Gas is another podcast that I do.
MTG.
I don't know if you guys are familiar
You
with
guys
it.
should check that out.
Any
Absolutely.
NASCAR fans? Yeah, we do.
They finished 9 episodes.
Yeah.
It's only 20 to 30 minutes long, so it doesn't take much of your time. And it's a fantastic way to educate yourself on what's happening current NASCAR, talking trash, talking everything NASCAR. Mash the Gas podcast.
That was quite a promotion there for MTG. Yeah, we just it's a good time, man. It's one of those niche specific podcasts.
Yeah.
Which really is fun because I get to come here on Wednesdays and drink beer and just talk about whatever. When I do MTG, I know I got to have my facts straight. I got to make sure I'm watching every lap of the race. I got to make sure I know what's going on. Where the
Dude
point
sits there with a notepad on Sundays.
I have to.
Yeah.
But it's fun because I love it. I love NASCAR. So those kind of like sports specific, music specific, true crime, movies. Those kind of casts are fun.
They are fun
because they dial into your exact needs. We're here at DCPC. It's like, what's going to happen this week? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. If I was to get into a second cast, it would probably just be something similar to discussion combustion, as in, like, I'm not going to follow a weekly thing. It's more or less going to be a food for thought podcast. Maybe it would be like a 15 to 20 minutes. I kind of like that shorter interval, and it would just be me just ranting about, what I think is important for people to hear this week. And
you kind of do that. You do that here though sometimes.
You're right, but I have so much in me that I feel like I could dedicate another half hour of just spitting that out, weekly. I don't know. Side projects, man. Kevin,
they're fun.
You've been a hustler for a while. When I was still lost in my drug addiction and diverting all my funds to having fun, which wasn't that much fun, you were wanting to put this podcast together. You were making, you were in a band, so where do you feel like some of your motivation comes from? Some of your muse to keep moving, I guess, and to keep, why do you want to keep yourself so busy all the time?
That's a good question. A lot of people ask me the same thing. Like, don't you ever get tired of just, this and that? And yeah, I do. But I just feel like it's something pulls me towards it. It's almost like a magnetic pull, where I feel like I have to be, when I'm putting in the effort that I want to be putting in, when I'm doing it on my time, that's what I enjoy. That's what I love, is trying to make something that I want to do. It's not like going to my 9 to 5 or my 7 to 3, whatever hours I work. That I have to be there on someone else's time to make the living. And I'm very fortunate to have that. But it's a different kind of passion when you put in that side hustle, those after hours, those late nights, and doing something that, number one, I enjoy. Number two, I want to continue to try to grow and educate myself and innovate and learn. I don't know, man. It's hard to say where it comes from. I just know that I want to do it.
For sure. And, it kind of ties into last week when we were talking with Brett about how he was talking about what we feed our brain, and how important that is to think about from time to time. Because I'm guilty of it. I know too many of us are out there, but on our spare time, we find ourselves in front of a screen, whether it's watching a movie, on our phones, scrolling whatever social media, playing video games, just kind of lose. And that's what we're feeding our brain with. So the importance of doing something outside of that also makes you feel good is an important aspect to life, because life is short. I mean, if you believe in evolution and the world being billions of years old, then you realize the span of a human life is but a blink of an eye in the grand scale of time. And so for us to enjoy every moment of that and make it more worth our time to wake up in the morning and do something that we thoroughly love and enjoy, whether that's, raising your children or, putting models together or cleaning your gun out and, being a responsible gun owner. There's so many different ways that we could feed our brain in a more productive way. And, let's challenge ourselves to do that, myself included. I mean, I need to challenge myself to, put down the game controller or stop scrolling Reddit in my after hours, and once you start putting that effort in, it almost becomes effortless. Like you like fiend to do it. Like you want to do it.
Yeah, I think, and that's exactly what it is. You're doing it because you want to do it. You're not doing it because you have to do it. We all have to go make a living. We all have to pay the bills. We all have to go find a place to live. We all have to go to the grocery store to buy things to eat. Those are all essential things that we have to do. But finding something that you enjoy doing, I think is so crucial, especially in your spare time. When you get away from doing those things you have to do, finding something you want to do and putting your time and effort and enjoyment into it and getting something out of it, I think is so important. So I think circling back to your original question, that's why I did the band, tried the podcasting. I'm always trying to find something that I want to do. And I think it's right here, man. I have a good time coming here and just sitting down doing chatting. It feels the most natural. It feels, I don't know, I get to talk to you guys, and it's just a cool experience, You get something out of it.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, we have, between our close friends, probably 20 people, maybe total within 20 people that we know that are regular listeners and give us feedback. And honestly, if we just had those 20 people listening in and we're making their weeks better, like we just want to do it, because it's something that's bigger than us. And it's important, to have that. I mean, one of our best friends, Clint, we mention him all the time. He's been on several times. It was funny because we all hung out. Like, we had a rare opportunity to get all the boys together, and we did.
That was a great night.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun that night.
That was a great Bicepa.
Bicepa, yeah. we had Clint, we had Kevin, we had Craig, we had my brother Eric, we had. Was that everybody?
And then you and I.
Yeah. So there's 6 of us or something, and it was just a great time. And Clint was saying how. He feels like he sees us every single week because he sits down and hangs out and listens to the conversation. And that gives me a good feeling, that helps me want to continue to pursue it regardless of what I experience trying to pursue this. Because, if you're reaching one person with what you do and you've helped impact one day in a positive way, then it's worth it to me. That's worth it to me.
We need it more than ever, I feel like, positivity for sure. And if that's something that we're offering here, that's a good thing. I don't know sometimes because, I get on here, I get a little aggressive, a little sappy, a little beer drinky, but I can promise you it's real, and that's something I always try to stay true to is just being real, being myself, and interacting with people and just keeping the mission statement, man. We've talked about what DCPC is about, our mission statement, what we're going to continue to do. We have an opportunity tonight because we had something on the books that didn't work out. So it's just you and I here just kind of, shooting the breeze, like old times.
Shooting the breeze. And honestly, I like getting the solos in. I feel like solos are a lot of fun.
Well, it's kind of the backbone of...
There's no rules on a solo.
Well, there's no rules to any of it.
Well, there's never rules, but, there's less structure. And not that there's structure normally, but it's just a different vibe when it's, two buddies that have known each other for 12 plus years chit-chatting opposed to, us getting to know some great people.
Yeah.
It's just a different vibe.
It is a different vibe. And, it goes back to the roots. When we started this project, that's what it was.
So one thing I got to say is since moving into this new studio space, it's been phenomenal energy. We've really enjoyed the space is very much so, but always want to give credit where credit's due. Jamie, we love you, man. If it wasn't for your help in the beginning and providing a space for us to push, make this content and stuff, it wouldn't be possible. So I want to say that first of all. But why I brought this up was, the way that these walls are shaped and everything. We got some bassy burps up in this bitch.
Yeah, there's some bass happening for sure. We got to be conscious of that sometimes, because it is kind of a shared workspace. We got a lot of different businesses around us. In fact, we were talking with our neighbor here before we went on air. It sounds like he might make an appearance, maybe episode 102, 103. Don't quote me, but it's coming up, and so we got to be considerate. The fact we do record here after hours, though. Most people go home at 5, 5:30, 6 p.m., which is right around the time we start shooting. So for the most part, the bassy burps won't affect people. Now, the afternoon shoots, that might be a different story.
Yeah, once we go phase 4, we're going to be drinking coffee until 4 p.m. We can't be drinking before then.
I don't know about all that, but it just depends on the situation.
It depends. It does depend. But man, even my baby had a bassy burp up in here. You know, this studio is like a little retreat place. I've come in here several times when I moved. My internet wasn't set up properly through Xfinity. They came and fixed the problem, but still lack of detail in the front end. But they did fix it, so I'll give them credit there. And so we used the studio to work in all day.
It's great internet.
The day
here.
after that, we moved. Yeah.
I'm going to start doing all the uploads from here because I moved to a new location, and I have CenturyLink now. And, you know, so far no problems, you know, with the streaming. You know, so we do a lot of streaming. Most of our television comes in through Fubo, Sling.
I think it's Fubo.
It is. It's Fubo. Fubo is a clothing line.
For us, by us.
Yeah.
I used to want that clothing back in the day. I didn't know what it meant.
Well, first of all, Damon John, you know, from Shark Tank, he founded the whole thing.
Did he?
But that's beside the point. The fact remains is that the internet hasn't been so bad on CenturyLink that I haven't seen any issues other than the upload speed. Yeah. So in other words, I'm not going to be able to do the uploads from the house. But that's fine because we can do them from here. The internet here is tremendous. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not willing to throw CenturyLink under the bus just yet because I haven't seen any issues other than the upload speeds. But even on my old internet, Xfinity, it would take quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, this is that business class. It's a class of business that is gonna get you moving with the quickness.
Look, everybody needs that bandwidth. You know, you need bandwidth to do things.
Bandwidth this.
You need upload speeds, you need download speeds, and that's, you know, that's what it is. That's what the internet's all about. And it's amazing. Like when you remove that from your day, if you don't have that, like Wi-Fi's, upload speeds, download speeds, it's amazing how quick the panic sets in. Like, wait, what do you mean I can't retrieve emails? What do you mean I can't upload a tweet or whatever? Our whole worlds have become consumed with uploads and downloads, Arthur.
I know. Thanks to all the Redditors out there on the Reddit that put up those friendly reminding memes that, you know, if you're not using Wi-Fi right now, you should go ahead and hop on Wi-Fi. No point in using data when you're paying for the Wi-Fi internet, you know?
I have unlimited data.
So I appreciate all those people. I don't know if I do. I feel like mine starts getting capped. I'm on a family plan with my brother and my mom. That's interesting. But I feel like the thing is I'm on my phone more than any of them because I work in logistics. I have to make a lot of phone calls, and I'm constantly on it.
Yeah, but the thing is that where you work most of the time, whether it's here, whether it's home, whether it's at your main office, you always have access to Wi-Fi. So you shouldn't be using your phone's data in those scenarios.
But a lot of times I don't like Wi-Fi. Like sometimes things go slower on Wi-Fi,
you think?
And I just disconnect. Yeah, sometimes
I guess I could agree with that.
Sometimes it works better without Wi-Fi.
I guess I could agree with that.
Not all times.
If the bandwidth is being bogged down, you know, if you're on a public Wi-Fi that's not that good, whether it be, you know, your local coffee shop, you know, maybe a grocery store, those Wi-Fis aren't that good. You know, you can literally see the side-by-side comparison as if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to upload or watch a YouTube video or maybe even check an email. If you try to pull it in on their Wi-Fi, it's not that good, and then you click off of that back to the 4G or 5G, whatever the hell you have, it's way better to go off the network.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know what's up with this 5G stuff. I mean, let's talk some conspiracies, you know, because this tonight was supposed to be highly based on conspiracies. Why do you think people are so like? How come people weren't concerned about 4G, but now all of a sudden the 5G towers are? What are they even talking about? The 5G towers. What are the 5G towers doing to these conspiracy theorists?
Basically, what I understand is that the 5G conspiracy is that it is now leveled into a way. I don't know if it's so much mind control. But a lot of the 5G conspiracies that I've seen, and I'm not real leveraged in on a lot of this stuff. I'm not educated on it. I don't know what a lot of these guys think. So if our listeners or viewers know more about it, you know, feel free to weigh in. But my understanding is the 5G fear, so to speak, is a mind control or a damaging aspect to humanity.
I know you're not heavy into gaming. Did you ever play any of the Command & Conquer games growing up?
No.
So any of my RTS gamers out there, Yuri's Revenge, Red Alert 2, Yuri's Revenge, That's what 5G is. This dude like was making mind control stuff, radio waves, mind control. You guys think that Yuri's Revenge is actually happening? Have you experienced anything where you felt like you lost control of yourself? Have you had any blackouts recently that your spouse is aware of? That, you know, you're doing odd behavior that you would never do? Maybe the 5G is a real thing. If you're experiencing those things, please call 1-800-CRAZY.
Well, I mean, look, I don't know, man. You know, I'm just not sure about these conspiracies. I don't know. I don't know enough about them. I don't. I'm always open to hear and learn. Obviously, we were going to entertain having David Weiss on tonight.
Yeah.
And we were going to treat that with the utmost respect of entertaining the flat Earth community.
Well, what we wanted to do was, you know, not debate the man on if the world is round or flat. Like, we didn't want to have that debate. He's very educated on why it's flat, you know, and he has every reason to explain why it's flat. So we didn't want to go back and forth. We just wanted to talk to him about, like, you know, why are all the companies and governments of the world in cahoots to hiding the flat Earth from us? Like, what's the point? Like, what do they benefit by concealing the flat Earth? Like, what's the point of that? What's the benefit of faking the dinosaurs? You know, there's that's the thing with conspiracies is they're interesting. So, you know, they kind of catch your attention, but then the rabbit hole goes as deep as you want it to go. It never ends.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It never ends.
And that's exactly what it is. And as a matter of fact, I think one of the, you know, he's got the Flat Earth podcast, but then he also does a show called it's either Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole or Down Inside the Rabbit Hole.
So is that his podcast?
I know his podcast is the Flat Earth podcast, but I think he also might be
he's scheduled with that podcast
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another podcast.
So another rabbit hole kind of thing. But the fact remains, you're right, because once you go in that rabbit hole, because I've looked down in that hole. I've even kind of poked my head down there and seen what's going on. I got a smell of that dirt. You know, I could start to sense what was going on down there. I didn't like it. I pulled out.
Yeah.
It can be very alarming when you get in there.
But it's just interesting because, you know, I'm kind of disappointed that the scheduling didn't stick with Dave. And you know, that he didn't receive our Zoom invite, which we've had multiple Zoom calls and invites, and that's the first fail.
Yeah, it is.
So, you know, I'm kind of disappointed because I did really want to talk to somebody that was well educated on the conspiracies. I wanted to, you know, open up the conversation on, like, you know, not trying to disprove them, but, like, really, why is it happening? Because that's such an interesting question to me, and I would have loved to have heard his insight, you know, but it's just like, let's brainstorm a little bit. Like, why would they be hiding a flat Earth from us?
Well, and that's exactly what we were going to ask David Weiss. I mean, that was our approach to the show because, you know, he's really good at presenting information. You know, I've spent hours watching his material. And for people that are, like, if that's news to your ears that there's a flat Earth community, there is, and it's massive, and it continues to grow. And they truly have an entire layout as to how it's not just I still think it's flat. No, they have a whole map of it, guys. You know, I've seen it. I've seen how they think the sun and the moon, everything rotates, the seasons. I've heard the science behind it. How, you know, basically a flat Earth, you wouldn't just fall off. It's ice walls all the way around. So Antarctica would be an ice wall all the way around the flat Earth, and they basically look at it as like a terranium.
Yeah, but what's the point?
That's the science behind it. So then the point, that's where the debate comes in. Why has it been hidden from us this whole time?
Yeah.
And that's what we were kind of hoping to get into tonight because those are great questions.
Yeah, because I don't know how to answer that. I can't logically think, and maybe some of this conspiracy stuff is outside of the laws of logic. But, you know, logically, why? What do they benefit? And as I'm saying this, I'm kind of putting it together. So, you know, from faking the dinosaurs, you could benefit all, you know, money from exhibits, right? So that's one little thing.
But yes and no, though, because those exhibits have been in existence for a while now, right? They will continue to be, you know, post-COVID, once we get back to seeing these things and understanding, you know, the fossils and going to see, you know, T-Rexes and things that have been reconstructed from the fossils that have been found. Those are always going to be a part of it. The flat Earth community is still...
And so are they also saying like that, like, you know, because I saw one clip, and we did a lot of research on Dave because we wanted to be educated, and he was presenting this one thing about like how, you have these two pictures of Jupiter that are like 6 years apart, and they're all the same.
Mars.
Well, there's one of Jupiter too.
Oh, yeah,
with,
you're
like,
right. There was a Jupiter.
the auroras and stuff.
Yeah. You're right.
But it's like, why are they lying about the solar system and the planets in the solar system? And like, why would they want to be making all this up? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So these are questions that we probably will never have answered on this podcast.
Yeah, and that was kind of that was going to be the focus of it. We weren't really trying to debate whether the Earth was flat or round because, we weren't going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah.
Dave's really good at presenting. I'll give him that. I mean, he's got his green screens behind him. You guys can look him up.
Yeah.
You've seen him. He does a lot of presenting, so to speak. But yeah, that was going to be kind of what we wanted to crack is why, how is everybody still in cahoots? How is Elon Musk and SpaceX, so far leveraged in to this cover up, so to speak? And there's been a lot of folks that have gone on record to say that they've talked to Buzz Aldrin face to face, and basically got this vibe that Buzz Aldrin didn't go, up there, like he's just another puppet. Buzz was like, yeah, I didn't go.
Okay. Like, the whole faking the moon landing thing, like, do you really think that technology... I mean, we've seen some movies come out recently with horrible CG and stuff, but was technology really even there, during that...
To fake something like that?
Yeah, during that time. Like, I guess you could, film them jumping around, how they're, like, jumping around, and I guess you could slow down that footage to make it look like it was less gravity. There's probably ways to explain how they doctored up the footage, but it's just like, during the Cold War, and I mean, to believe in conspiracies is to, like, push all history, everything aside, and to a certain extent, I can respect that because mainstream media, mainstream news, all this stuff is so convoluted and it's just pushing an agenda of itself. It's all propaganda. So to be suspicious of that is a valid approach. Like,
Agree.
I can agree with that. But, like, to like start, that's why it's a slippery slope and a deep rabbit hole is because, like, once you start answering those questions and you question the validity of, governments and history classes, then it can get slippery.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's questioning everything, hence being in the rabbit hole. And what do you trust? What source of information do you trust? Because it's like, okay, science tells us this. We're questioning that. Do we believe the propaganda of the news? You really kind of have to do your own research a little bit. But even that is questionable then, right? Because if your research is only based on the sources that you've already been programmed to...
because most people are going to subconsciously click on the thing that they're thinking about. Like, all the time.
It caters to their... Yeah, it caters to what they're
feeling. To their
feeling.
agenda, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of it is based on that emotional aspect of it. It's not about reporting what's going on anymore. It's about reporting on an emotion that you should be feeling about it. That's the difference. This is not a factual report. This is happening because of this and fear and propaganda, more fear mongering. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole point of this is, it's okay to have some speculation, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't trust anything. Follow your instincts and your logic. With the whole flat Earth thing, I can't find the logic to why all these companies are in cahoots, all the governments are in cahoots to pull this blanket over our eyes. That's the one thing that I logically I think about it from a devil's advocate. Like, what if the Earth is flat? Like, what's the point? Like, why are they hiding this? Why are they fabricating all this information? And, like, I really try to find a piece of substance there, and I can't find it. So, personally, I stand on globe. I'm a glober. And that's how it is, But it's okay to speculate and not always trust mainstream media, for sure.
Yeah, that's the bottom line for sure, And it never hurts to, spread your chips around the table. Don't just go with one source. Trust that. That's why I do like talking to people like David Weiss. It would have been a pleasure to have him on the show tonight. That's not going to happen.
We would have had him on if the man could have held some accountability with the whole thing, because he asked us for information like, I never received this. Where's the communication? Where's the Zoom invite? And we provided all that info and going back and forth. And then, after we had given him all the information, we were told that, he after confirming the date that he was available, that we missed 2 correspondents trying to verify that again. And we never received 2 other correspondents. And at that point, it's not worth pursuing, because just like, there's all these reasons why the earth is flat, there's also all these reasons why it's our fault that he didn't receive the Zoom invite. So that's why we respectfully just took that invite, took that opportunity off the table. That's something we're not willing to pursue anymore. We were willing to have somebody come on, push their propaganda on here, something that we didn't believe in, and, challenge them and talk to them about it in a way that maybe opens up the conversation some more. But based upon how it was handled after the mistake was made, bad taste in our mouths. So we're not pursuing that.
No, and that's just the way the cards fell, man. And no harm, no foul. We're not trying to throw anyone under the bus here.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I mean, he's successful. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
Very good.
And honestly, like, most people probably go to just schedule him on his thing. Here at DCPC, when we wanted to schedule it our way. And that's where the issue happened, because it wasn't done how he's used to, and that's why it was missed. And so that happens. It's understandable. No hard feelings here, but we're looking forward to understanding this topic a little bit more.
Sure, and it's not going to happen, and that's fine. There's plenty of information about it out there, and we're just going to keep rolling the dice, man. So what do you got for me? You got a would you rather?
Yeah, you already knew that I was pulling it up.
Whenever you go there for that phone grab, it's like something's about to happen.
Yeah, I got some. I had to put together a would you rather for Kev that is going to pull him between things that he loves tonight. So the first would you rather, if you had to pick between giving up watching NASCAR, listening to NASCAR, anything racing related, you couldn't listen to it, you couldn't play video games, nothing NASCAR. You either had to give up that or give up beer.
I had a feeling that it was going to be when
Which would it be?
When it was presented to me that way, as like in depth with having to give up NASCAR, I knew it was either going to be football or beer. Those were the 2 that I saw coming next.
Mm-hmm. So you giving up beer, giving up booze, or you giving up NASCAR?
Man, I'm gonna give up
MTG.
I'll give up booze.
Yeah,
yeah, I'd give up booze for sure, because
I think that's the righteous route to take on that one.
Well, NASCAR, I mean, has been such a huge part of my life. Going back to 4 or 5 years old, being at the racetrack, getting involved with the sport, the family aspect of it. You don't need beer to do all that stuff. Do I love drinking beer? Of course. I'm doing it right now. I do it every damn week. I do it 48 weeks out of the year. I do it, 48 out of 52.
Oh, why? Because you do sober October, but this year...
Correct, but this year we're doing September.
We're doing sober September.
Sexy, sober September.
Sexy, sober September.
I don't know what makes it sexy other than...
We can't have 2 S's, because then it's the SS as an abbreviation, and that's affiliated with some horrible people.
Well, first of all...
We can't do that.
The SS is also affiliated with a Camaro,
What does this stand for?
Super slow.
Coming from the guy who has a Ford tat on his fucking arm.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. I love Chevy racing. I've been a Henry Motorsports fan for a long time, going back to NASCAR. Hence why I don't want to give up. Man, it'd be tough to give up drinking for NASCAR, but I would give up the booze to keep racing.
Yeah. Well, sure. I don't watch NASCAR or racing or play those video games, so I'm gonna drink the beer.
Well, that makes sense, Arthur.
But if it was something that I loved, like you love racing, then of course I would pursue the righteous route and accept that.
Yeah, I'll drink non-alcoholic beer to watch my race. That's fine.
No beer at all.
No, was that the stipulation?
It was no beer.
All right, fine. I'm still giving it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to race.
That's fine.
I want to do racing. Love
so,
it.
Would you guys, keep one of your passions alive or continue to drown in the bottle? If you had to pick, would you rather be a priest, preacher, or a conspiracy theorist like a flat earther? And you would follow the beliefs to the core.
That's a tough one, man. That's just a real tough situation. Because I don't think I'd be good at either of them, to be quite honest with you. You know, I just wouldn't.
I know which way I'm going already on this.
Preacher or conspiracy theorist?
Yeah, or like you're a man of religion. You follow it to the core, 100%. Try to recruit people, you know, the whole thing. Or you're like our missed opportunity, and 100% in deep in the rabbit hole. Nothing is true.
Well, I mean, to be fair, on regards to both sides of it, nothing really has enough evidence to back either side, right?
But it's a belief.
It's a belief.
It's a belief.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, you're going off a belief. There's no way to truly verify either side, 100%. So it really comes down to where do you want to align. That's a tough one, man. I just don't know. Because, again, I don't think I'd be good at either one of them.
So, personally, since you're on the fence, I'll throw my 2 cents in. I mean, I respect religion. I respect, you know, how religion can bring value into one's life, bring structure into one's life. I respect all that, you know. I really, really do. But deep down, you know, who I am, like I don't follow a specific religion. I'm spiritual. I believe in energy. And, you know, I believe in everybody has energy to give and put out and to help with. And that could be perpetual, and that's a powerful thing, almost like a religious experience. So on that hand, you know, I don't believe in religions to where religious beliefs are. And I also don't believe in conspiracies to where they are. But I think that I would rather be a hardcore conspiracist opposed to, because you could still drink, you could call people out, you cuss, swear, you know, you can.
Yeah, you're looking at that a little bit deeper than I thought.
You know, you could still have premarital sex. You know, you could do all these other things that I also believe in without conspiracies. So I'm hardcore conspiracist if I got to pick between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my follow-up to that would be like, what's the conspiracy that you got to follow? I guess that was a part of the Would You Rather.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was just an example of like a flat earther. You know, so you're 100% in. You know, that's what you believe in. I think I would rather be a conspiracist than, you know, a priest or a preacher.
Yeah, I guess I could see that as well.
That's probably the more negative approach.
Well,
I don't know.
I think, you know, because of the Would You Rather situation, I don't feel like I'd be a good preacher, you know. I just don't. So I think if I'm going to be a conspiracy, I'd have to. What's my conspiracy? I guess.
Which one do you want to do?
I don't want to do any of them.
But which one?
I don't know. But the way you sold it to me, being that you can still do a lot of the fun things, that I guess I'll take that. That's a tough one though, man. I don't know, because I'm not sure where I would align with that, because I don't think I'm going to be good at either one of them.
No, but
so
like
being selfish,
that's who you are, though. Then, man.
Well, but
so
that's
it's like,
yeah. But
so you would be good at it. It's just like you're like you're podcasting and stuff.
Well, you know, whatever it is, I'm going to take you. You kind of sold me on like I can still drink and do this and that. So I don't even know, man. I guess I'll be a conspiracy theorist with you. I just don't know what the conspiracy is.
Dude, it's everything. It's all fucking lies, bro. Dinosaurs don't exist. The moon is a huge satellite.
Yeah, I've heard them all. A lot of them. And, you know, I like to entertain them. Again, you know, it's not like, I'm not one of those people that's like, blah, 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 I want to hear that. We obviously wanted to do it here tonight.
I like the hollow earth conspiracy.
That one's interesting.
It would have to be a globe, right? But
it would.
But it would be a hollow earth.
You know, the main thing I wanted to ask David Weiss, and if you are listening, David, you know,
we still respect your craft, man.
I respect your passion is what I respect, because you have, you know, going back to it, he puts everything into it, every little bit of it. We've sat here and trashed him for a bit, and I want to keep it professional. You know, Dave's doing his thing, and if you or your team is listening, I just want to know how you feel about GPS. You know, because I heard you say in another podcast that you utilize GPS to get from point A to point B. That's a global positioning system, right? So I'm just curious what you think on that.
I'm going to ask you a question that I'm going to need to explain it to you for you to answer it.
Great.
So Do you agree with Thanos' decision to snap away half of all life in all of the universe? So to give you some insight, in the Marvel movies and the comic books, one of the main villains,
Which we're talking fiction.
Thanos gets an infinity gauntlet. There's infinity stones, which all have their own special, the power within their own realm. And when he gets all the stones on this infinity gauntlet, it's so powerful that with whatever thought he has, he could snap his finger and make it happen. So Thanos, in order to bring balance and restoration to all of the universe, all of it, snapped his fingers and took away half of all life everywhere. Do you agree with what Thanos did?
Well, first of all, because it's a fiction-based situation, that kind of changes the perspective of the answer a little bit, or the value behind the answer. Because if this was a real possibility where somebody could snap their fingers and half the life would go away, the answer would hold a lot more weight than it would for a fictional situation. Me having not really understanding or knowing a lot of Thanos and why is that funny?
Just keep going.
Do I agree with his decision to get rid of half the life? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm going to go with yes.
So, there's a whole subreddit dedicated to Thanos did nothing wrong. And if you think about it, I've said this multiple times on the pod, and I've thought about it for years and years personally. The world's getting overpopulated, and if you just look at humanity for one example, no population control, fiscally, all the corporations want growth month after month after month after month. Like, that's what the expectation is always to grow, At some point, the world's going to get dried up, like from its resources, regardless of water, which is happening all over the place right now, And so I can agree. I can agree with it, okay? I don't think Thanos really did something that wrong, to preserve life. But see, the flaw with Thanos' decision, and I'm sure this has been talked about on many, many things. Shout out to DC versus Marvel, local podcasters, and podcast awards winners. Shout out to them because I'm sure they've talked about this. But if I was Thanos, I would have snapped my finger and quadrupled all the resources.
Well, if that was the availability to be able to snap your finger and make that kind of rational change across the board, right? Either get rid of half the life or increase resources. Of course, you would go with that route, right? Make it more beneficial for the planet that we live on. But yeah, having not knowing a lot about that, just answering that question in a fiction based, I think population control, getting rid of some of these people, probably would be beneficial to the resources, to Mother Earth, what have you.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think of things that I want to say, and because it's recorded and sent out globally, sometimes I question things that I want to say. But this one might be important, if you're looking at if you're struggling in a personal relationship with a significant other, and you're looking at options to help resurrect that relationship, options I would take off the table are buying a house together, having children together, getting married. If you are having if you're in a struggling relationship with a significant other, I believe those three things should be off the table to help your relationship.
I think that's a fair assessment, because so many times I have personal friends, family members, acquaintances, coworkers. I've heard this story 1,000 times. And, you also got to consider the factor of social pressure. and tradition and also religion, right? There's
True.
there's a lot of pressure that comes in from different angles, especially when you're young. Maybe you just, go to that college, high school, whatever, you're in your early 20s.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm great.
I was just giving you a hard time.
You met your significant other, you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
And that's terrific. You're doing church, you're hanging out, with some family members, and they're like, well, why aren't you guys hitched yet? Why aren't you guys married yet? Why don't you guys live on a cul-de-sac yet? Why don't you guys have some kids yet? Your brother has kids. Your cousins have kids. They're well established. They live in a cul-de-sac. They put the sugar on the cookies on Saturday nights. What are you doing? They feel the pressure, right? So people are forced into these scenarios thinking like, well, this is what I'm conditioned to do. And I think it's important that we put that out there that way, because it really does feel like this is how, you're so conditioned, whether you are religious or not, or whether you're monogamous or not. Whatever it is, the conditioning is leveling up in life. The way that we're programmed and conditioned is graduate, go to college, get a degree, get a career, get married, have kids, live on a cul-de-sac, buy a dog,
Have a house.
rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, raise a family.
That's kind of like the what would you call that? The blueprint.
Well, and there's a lot of joy within that.
Of course, I'm not saying there isn't.
But to what you're saying to give that extra content is yes, I agree with that. Like, we're conditioned for that process, and then for people who aren't married yet, or people look at them like, what are you doing with your life? Like, how come you can't find somebody? It's like everything else is taken off the table all of a sudden, and like, you can't just have a job, have your dog, or be single, and that be viewed as successful, which it absolutely is, because I believe that life is based upon success as how happy was your life. Did you have a good day today? Was today a good day for you? If it wasn't, why wasn't it a good day? Was it because it was just truly a shitty day, or was it because you had a shitty attitude? Mm-hmm. So like, I feel like success is based on happiness. And I want to break a couple stereotypes, that the good old conglomerate Uber company Disney has put out there. And I want to break stereotypes for men and women on this. So to the ladies out there, this whole, because they have a lot of like love story, perfect princess women. And I'll tell you this right now. For women, the standards that society has put upon them to fulfill is completely unreasonable and causes so much depression across the board and unsurety. And I think it's so unfair to women how there's all these the photoshopped on media, and you're supposed to look this way, and even the influencers don't even look that way. So first of all, break that stereotype. Men like stretch marks. Men like natural looking women. Cellulite is on everybody. Don't worry about it. Don't start fixing your face with collagen and all this stupid shit. It looks ridiculous. Just be yourself. Have a good personality. Take care of people. Like, you don't have to be a pretty princess that has a perfect life and all this other stuff. That's not what men want. That's not what women necessarily want. If you're bi or whatever, lesbian, it doesn't matter. Just you got to break these stereotypes. And on the man side, on the Disney stereotype, like how the men in the shows, like, they have to give up everything. They make the woman the biggest priority. It's the only priority in life. And that's a facade, because to be happy as an individual, you have to have individual goals that are outside of a relationship. You have to fill yourself with things that are important to you, like what we talked about earlier, like watching, NASCAR and like having some fun in your life. And so those are the two stereotypes I'd like to break. Like, a man doesn't have to give up everything to be with a woman, and a woman doesn't have to be absolutely perfect to be with a man. And I think that's unfair to put either of those out there.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it, man. I mean, that's really what I think the majority of modern relationships struggle with, And I say modern only because we have a lot of other outlying factors that really echo the points you just made as to why they're so important. Back in the, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, in my folks' era, I flat out asked mom and dad. I've said, look, if you guys, because my folks got married in, they're going to be pissed if I fuck this up, 74.
You fucked it up.
I probably did.
No, he didn't. He got it right.
I'm sorry, mom and dad, if I did. I'm going to say 72 to 74. Either way, I flat out got on the record and I said, do you guys believe if you had Instagram, Facebook, Tinder, all this shit that we have now, that your marriage would have lasted this long? And they, in a roundabout way, they've said no, but obviously they've made it through thick and thin. I mean, my folks have been married for over 40 years, 45 years. Yeah.
And raised your crazy ass and your brother's crazy ass.
They raised us, and we're fucking nuts. So shout out to mom and dad for raising my brother and I, because, that's a lot to handle. But the fact remains, that's a marriage that's lasted for over 4 decades, almost 5 decades. And removing, I mean, it's a factor now, but when you've been together that long, what does it matter? The fact remains, the pressure that we see, the judgment that we see with the social media presence or the TV programs that we watch, Disney, you mentioned them, it really does kind of create this fairy tale, kind of instant gratification, everything has to be perfect all the time kind of thing. And it desensitizes us from the reality of what relationships are. And they are that you're dealing with two different people. And you have to have that trust, honesty, and respect of each other's time for this thing to be moving forward, I feel like. That's what I see with a lot of these modern relationships is the outside influences of it. Because when you break it down to the two individuals, I'm sure it's tremendous. There's chemistry there, there's attraction there, there's correspondence, there's compatibility, there's a lot of things. But then there's other layers that get piled onto it and other aspects of life and things happening that there's comparisons, there's jealousy, there's standards, there's uncommunicated expectations that really kind of contaminate the reality of what a relationship is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dance, and as long as you're on the floor, you better have a move, and hopefully you're dancing with the other person and not just, going on, because that's the thing is like, the stereotypes I was trying to break earlier, like you still need to give up. It's teamwork, so there's always give and take. And so you got to still give. You can't just be stubborn, and you can't just be like, well, I'm not going to give up my whole life to be. You still need to give those a little bit extra, because that's somebody that you love, you respect as a best friend. So you want to work towards that. But yeah, we just need to break those stereotypes of like, how it is in the movies and how it is in TV shows and how the influencers, present their lives. Like, shit, I've done this before, but I would like to challenge every social media influencer out there to start putting out some real shit, like put up the fake pictures, maybe put up a picture that you photoshopped next to a picture that you didn't, so then you can show people the real. Maybe do a post on a bad day. What was an issue you had? What was a mistake you made? And honestly, if you can be humble, hold yourself accountable, then you're going to earn respect. People respect people who hold themselves accountable. Like, you know what? I messed up there. I didn't do that correctly. I can learn from that. I can improve, and work toward that. Like, that's more respectable than, no, it's not my fault, and making up excuses. Nobody likes to hear excuses.
Nobody likes to hear excuses, but everybody's so quick to do it. You're right, especially when they feel backed in the corner. Because when you approach someone with like, "Hey, I'm feeling this way about that. I caught you doing this. Here's my X, Y, and Z as to why that happened." They're immediately like, "Oh, wait a minute. You're calling me out on something I did wrong. I'm not capable of owning it." Right? That's the biggest thing. Is a lot of people they struggle to own it because they don't want to be seen in a negative light. And I understand that. Let's be real here. I'm not putting anybody down. This is a natural reaction, right? When you're in that scenario and you get called out, maybe you didn't perform at work real good. Maybe you fucked up here. Maybe you got caught doing something here. You got to own it.
Well, see, here's something, pride is the strongest negative. A proud person will make an excuse to why they're not wrong. Courage is the weakest positive. Somebody with courage will admit to their faults. Let's lean to the positive. Let's start correlating with mentalities that are going to help progress humanity forward. It's not about us completely, because like I was saying earlier, our existence is but a blink in the eye in the grand time scale of things. So if you're living your entire life with pride and not with courage, and you're not taking accountability and showing accountability, then what are you leaving? What is your stamp on society? What's your stamp on what ripples did you leave in the lake? You know, and that's something that is worth thinking about, because it doesn't matter if you don't have a social media presence. It doesn't matter if you don't have a podcast or an entertainment platform that you're actively working on. If you walk in your shoes, in your life, with accountability, with holding yourself responsible, with admitting to your mistakes, people around you will feel that. People around you will pick up on that, and people around you will get an impact from your actions. And so it doesn't matter if you have a platform to push it out on. It matters that you're holding yourself accountable, because then other people will recognize that, and you'll inspire people regardless.
Yeah, it comes back to just being true and humble to yourself, you know, and really respecting what you truly believe in, and not being influenced by how you should behave, how you should react, what's in, what's trendy, you know, oh, I got to act this way because this app is out. You know, forget all that, man. Forget it all. Stay true to your roots. Be you, you know, and embrace you. Don't be ashamed of you. You're you.
People won't agree. I mean, there's too many people on this planet for everybody to agree about everything. So regardless of who you are, regardless of what your beliefs are, somebody's going to disagree with you.
And that's life.
Somebody will. And so you just have to accept that. And that's okay. That's okay. But we've talked about this a bunch of times. Just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean that you have to treat them with disrespect.
Of course.
You know, you can respectfully disagree with their opinions. It doesn't have to get harsh. You know, it doesn't have to, you know, get to throwing blows or like, you know, F these people or F those people. It could be simply, I don't believe in what you believe in, but I still respect you as a human and your life as an experience. And I wish you the best experience, even though I don't agree with your beliefs.
Sure. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, you know, just with some of the political tensions and different opinions on, you know, whatever it may be. It really has become, you know, kind of front and center, where so many friendships, relationships are compromised because so-and-so believes this, but so-and-so believes this. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. It's like,
it's so polar.
We got to be able to break that a little bit.
Like, it's black and white. Like, let's live in the gray. I think Brett was talking about that last week too. Like, you know, there's a lot of gray, shades of gray to everything. And honestly, that's not that bad of a place to be.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And it never hurts to surround yourself with people with different opinions, because if you're with people that agree with you all the time and are totally, you know, just, yeah, absolutely, you're not being challenged. It's important to challenge yourself and surround yourself with successful people, or people of different opinions, people of different backgrounds. You know, all of it is important because it helps us learn. It helps us adapt and understand what's going on, you know, and appreciating those real interactions rather than the social media keyboard warriors. You know, we trash social media all the time. There is some positives that come out of it, but the fact remains, what we've seen from it is just so toxic. It does more bad than it does good, in my opinion. And I just really hope that we can get back to respecting one another, whether you agree or not. You know, even if you look at an individual like, this person's a POS, they believe this, they did that. Removing ourselves from that immediate judgment on this individual, and maybe saying, well, they also have this to offer as well, you know, and not just putting them in this immediate box of negativity, I think is something that really speaks volume and would go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I want to put a challenge out there yet again. Just reiterate this to all the influencers, all the people who put on the facade to make their life look like it's absolutely perfect in order to get more listeners and followers. I guarantee you, if you put out some real shit, some of your struggles, some of your tribulations in life, I guarantee you that people will feel that shit. You will probably get more respect, more followers and more of a movement if you put the actual truth forward. Let's stop hiding behind this facade that like Photoshop has created. Let's stop hiding behind the facade of only posting the good times. Let's start being true to ourselves first and foremost, and then being true to people that we have an influence over. So I don't consider either of us influencers. Like, Discussion Combustion is for the people, we're the vessels, but those people who are specific influencers, I challenge every single one of you to be real. Good or bad day, put it out there so people can actually relate and not try to fit in these shoes that you're putting out there, because those shoes don't exist.
Yeah, I think being real speaks more volume than only highlighting the good, because there is rainy days, guys, and we got to embrace the rainy days. It's not all, overly painted pictures and rainbow sprinkles on your ice cream cone. There is some bad times out there, and those are to be embraced, in my opinion.
100%.
So I agree with you, Art. I'm glad you're calling out some of these influencers, because they do have a huge impact on the way that people respond and how they try to essentially role model their lives. They look up to these individuals. These are motivational people. So it's important to showcase the bad times as well, because I think that also speaks volume to the mental health issue that we have. People feel like because they can't live up to, I won't call it some of the influencers. I mean, there's plenty that come to mind.
Fake standards.
The fake standards, the perfect lifestyle, the perfect this, that, and the other, that can really break somebody down and bring out some of their worst qualities. Whereas I feel like one thing I do love about podcasting, not necessarily just what we do here, but in a lot of other shows that I listen to, is that people talk about the struggles, the real struggles. I feel this way, putting it out there, not just showcasing what's great. That's not what it's about. It's not the sugar-coated scenarios, and the overly painted pictures and the ice cream cones. That's all well and good too, but let's balance that. So I think that's great advice. The influencers show the bad days too.
Yeah, I mean, if you
show the realness of it.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all are truly influencers and you have this huge impact on humanity, how do you want your ripple effect to look after you're dead? Do you want to have some fake facade that was it, that could be debunked? Or do you want to be a real one and put out some real stuff that people can relate to, cry over with? Maybe you cry on that. I feel like that could create a better world out there. So to change the topics, we put in the would you rathers. We got a word of the week.
We sure do. Yeah, we always have a word of the week submission, because we have just, really some of the great listeners and viewers out there, man. We're just really fortunate you guys
100%
get involved with this program every week and give us words that stump me, because I really feel like I'm stumped every week for the most part.
I honestly, most of these words I've never even heard. I would say 99% of them.
Well over 90%.
Some of the submissions, questionable, but we still love you guys.
We always try to pick the one that I don't
ones.
know.
Yeah.
Because we do get some submissions that are a little bit silly, and that's part of it. You got to dig through it a little bit. But let's see. Who do we have this week, man? We have Ashley from Richmond, Virginia.
Actually sending it in from the East Coast.
For East Coast. And speaking of Richmond, Virginia, we just got done racing NASCAR there, which is pretty cool. But so the word of the week is Augustopia. Augustopia is the word of the week. And this is a pretty interesting word. Kind of difficult to use in a sentence because it is a describing word, so it'll be an adjective.
Okay. I think I know.
Do you know?
I think I know. So Augustopia describes the feeling and utopia of dealing with the fall season.
I love how confidently you answered that, because I really thought you were going to nail it.
It was wrong.
Completely wrong.
Well, that's the beauty of it.
And I have no idea what this word means. The fact that I have the definition in front of me helps me look like I know what it means. But I don't even know what guess I would have.
Let me see how I put that together, like Augustopia, like it's a utopia, and August is like during fall.
So Augustopia.
Is that actually how it's said, Kevin?
Yep.
Chris, tell this man when you see him next.
Look, I have the breakdown right here. Augustopia.
Okay.
All right, that's the breakdown of how this word is pronounced. And it's kind of a tough word to use in a sentence. I mean, you can. I feel like the sentence usage is not really going to help the definition of what it is. I feel like defining the word and then using it in a sentence would be more beneficial.
Okay.
So the definition of this word is an admiration of a particular part of someone's body, right? So it's a visual enjoyment of appearance.
Oh.
So that describes the Augustopia feeling would be like, I really like...
Of the leaves? Or is it only for people?
No, well, I mean, it's a visual enjoyment of the appearance of a specific physical aspect of another. So, for example,
of another, okay.
I really enjoy my girlfriend's booty. Okay, so that would be a Augustopia feeling, or no, not a feeling, because it's not a feeling. It's an admiration. So I have a.
She gives me Augustopia.
Yeah, my girlfriend's booty is a little bit of an Augustopia situation.
Dead ass.
It might have been inappropriate, but it's an admiration for a physical attribute.
Yeah, like your beard is giving me an Augustopia.
See, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I feel like, because, I mean, my beard would give a lot of people Augustopia. I feel like Augustopia. Is it Stopia or Stopia?
I don't know. I don't know, but I think that's a great submission. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley, from Richmond, Virginia.
Virginia. That's actually, my dad was born in West Virginia.
Was he really?
I know it's not the same state, but
No, it's not
close
the same
enough.
state, Arthur.
Close enough.
It isn't.
I know it's not the same state.
That's the word of the week. And guys, send them in. Send them in some Would You Rathers, too. Would You Rathers are kind of fun to send in.
They are fun, but you know what? Unless if you know what the guest is and you know some information, because I try to tailor them.
That's true.
You know, every single week, you know, to something that is going to stump that person specifically. But we definitely appreciate any interaction here at DCPC. You know, we're very humbled by the listenership and just all the community that is around us. And I'm talking about a national community. I'm talking about the Colorado community. You know, the Colorado podcasting scene is so diverse, and there's so many great podcasts coming out of this state and all across the nation. I mean, you know, everybody, their mother and brother has a podcast going, and my challenge to any podcaster out there is to do the CQC, and that is to be consistent. You know, upload it the same time every single week, the same time every 2 weeks, whatever your consistency is. Be consistent on that. Have good quality. Make sure that you're using good mics, you're using good software. Quality's up there, and be consistent with the content, because the content is what's going to bring people back. Make sure that it's something that, you know, is fun. So I challenge all the podcasters, CQC. You got to do that, and that's going to bring an extra level. It's going to level up the game.
That's what it is, man. You know, and just being real, I think, you know, if you want to get involved with that business, just be yourself. Have a good time with it. Interact with people. Bring people on your show. Challenge yourself. You know, don't put yourself in a box, because it's easy to do that, you know, and kind of block out what's outside of your comfort zone. You know, we were willing to do that tonight.
Stop critiquing yourselves.
Stop critiquing yourselves, but don't stop critiquing yourselves at the same time.
Who cares what people think?
Yeah, well, you got to remove yourself from that, because the reality is people are always going to have an opinion no matter what. Whether you're doing well, whether you're doing bad, people are always going to have that judgment. You're never going to get 100% approval from anybody. That's just not the way the world works. You're always going to have some pushback. You're always going to have some offside or insight. You know, people saying, "Hey, you should do it this way," or "I don't like the way you guys do this," or "the way you ladies do that." That's just a part of life. People are always going to have their insight on it, and sometimes it can be offensive, and you might jump to be like, "Yeah, fuck you, I don't need that." But you know, just stay true to yourself, and the rest will come easy. I feel like.
Believe and achieve this week, holding yourself accountable, holding yourself responsible, and I feel like there's a lot of power there. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You know when you push it off and you try to make excuses. Come on, we all know deep down when we're doing that. Let's hold ourselves accountable and responsible for our mistakes, and I think that's a powerful message moving forward. You know that we have the winner of Hell's Kitchen coming in next week. Who's it going to be? We're going to be sitting down talking with them. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. You know, the season finale is getting ready to air tonight. You guys will be seeing it on Fox. Be sure to check it out. It's down to Chef Corey. It's down to Chef Mary Lou. Which one's it going to be? We don't know. But I will tell you this. We're going to be sitting down with the winner next week on episode 99 of Discussion Combustion. And, man, good stuff coming. We got 100 to follow that. Big party celebration coming there. And we're going to keep on rolling. You just got to own it, man. You got to own it. Own yourself, own your mistakes, own your insecurities, own your dreams. Own whatever it is you got to do. Just be true to yourselves.
Yeah, keep pushing. You know, life is a day-by-day thing, and every day is an opportunity for us to take, whether it's Saturday, whether it's Wednesday, whatever day. Do it the best way you can, and let's respect others and hold ourselves accountable. And on that bombshell, we love you guys. We love our listeners. We got the best listeners in the game. Let's go, baby.
That's right. Y'all be good to yourselves. You deserve it.